This question is from Pimp. Well done as always. Thanks a lot. Could you do a video explaining how the ERC20 copies can actually have/get any value? I mean, I don't get what money is backing these copies up. Will they not be just worthless actually? Also, when I have, let's say, a copy on PLS of 1 ETH, which will be worth 1 PLS, so actually almost nothing, and I bridge that copy over to the ETH network, what will that be? For sure not 1 ETH on the ETH network, right? I just don't get this really. I am sure I am not alone though. If you could bring light into this, would be more than appreciated. I have sacked for PulseX and I just want to understand better this new upcoming universe. Thanks a lot anyway. I think you are one of the few really good, honest, and authentic guys out there. Keep going like this, mate. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that, and I do try my best to be honest, and I'm happy to answer any questions that people have, provided it's a legitimate question. Yeah, that's why I'm here. So you're saying because the copied over PRC20 of USDC is not backed by, let's say, Circle, which is the company that owns USDC, meaning it's not redeemable for $1, it shouldn't be worth anything. So yes, the copied over PRC20 USDC will not have its peg to $1. You will not be able to take the PRC20 and go to Circle and say, let me get my dollar for this USDC PRC20. And you can't go to Tether and you can't say, oh, let me get my dollar redeemed for the Tether PRC20. So it's not going to be pegged to $1, but it will have some value. And the reason for that is because it is bonded in liquidity with other tokens that have value. Basically, the best way to explain this would be Richard Hart, what he coined Hart's Law, where he basically said prices of crypto move in tandem because they're tied in liquidity, they're trading in and out of each other. And the example he gave was a project on Ethereum, an ERC20 called Unisocks. And it was basically a meme. There was no serious project or community for it, but just because of the fact that it was able to be traded and people were trading in and out, it had value. And then as the price of Ethereum went up, the price of Unisocks, being a token that basically is called a pair of socks, went up tremendously. And the reason for that is because its liquidity is extremely thin. So just a small amount of money could really drive the price up a huge amount. So when something's trading on an exchange, when there is liquidity, when you can swap one token for another, that token will inevitably have value. That's just the way it works. That doesn't make it a good investment. That doesn't mean that it will go up. Usually it just goes down to the right, but it always has a price. When you're listed on an exchange, it has a price. So the answer is, while yes, these tokens are not backed in treasuries by Circle or by Tether or these other stablecoin companies, so they will not be worth $1, it will inevitably have a value. Will you get a better rate with a stablecoin than Hex or let's say a different PRC20 that's not a stablecoin? I don't know. That really depends on the market, but you will get something. And the important point is that when you're waiting in stablecoins for the Pulsechain launch, you are not subject to the risk of volatility of the market. That's why I'm big on stablecoins for trading for Pulse and PulseX. Not financial advice though, of course, do your own research. Okay, now you're saying also when I have, let's say, a copy on PLS of 1 ETH, which will be worth 1 PLS, so actually almost nothing, and I bridge that copy over to the ETH network, what will that be? Ethereum is the native token, it's the gas token, it is not an ERC20, so it's not going to be copied over to a PRC20. You are going to get airdropped 1 PLS per 1 ETH that you have on the Ethereum network. So you're not going to get a copied over Ethereum. The reason why I'm saying hold ETH in order to get copied over PLS is because just so you can have the gas to make a transaction. But being that you got in on the PulseX sacrifice, you're going to have 1 PLS already in order to make transactions. Then you see you bridge it over to the ETH network. What will that be? For sure not 1 ETH on the ETH network. I just don't get all this really. I'm sure, you're definitely not alone. And we were all there, okay? We were all there. Hey, everything's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. You're good, okay? We were all noobs at a point, and eventually you just immerse yourself and you start learning. So if you take that PLS and you bridge it back to Ethereum, it'll be worth 1 PLS. So whatever PLS is trading for, being that it's bridged over and can always be bridged back and traded for its dollar value, that's the value it will be. Obviously, it won't be worth 1 ETH because 1 PLS is likely going to be worth considerably less than 1 ETH just because it has much of a higher circulating supply. So basically, you're not getting a copy of your Ethereum, you're getting 1 PLS. when you bridge that PLS over onto the ETH network, if you decide to do that, that PLS will be worth 1 PLS, and that's what it's going to be worth. But if you, let's say, have another ERC20, like you have Chainlink, and that gets copied over onto PRC20, right? For example, if you bridge that Chainlink onto Ethereum, meaning you have the PRC20 Chainlink bridged onto the Ethereum network, it's going to be worth whatever Chainlink PRC20 is trading for on the exchanges on the Pulsechain network. So it's not going to have the same value as Chainlink on the Ethereum network, for better or worse, likely being that the Chainlink community is on Ethereum and the front end is pointed towards Ethereum. It's probably going to be worth less, but things can change based on whether or not there's adoption of these cryptos on Pulsechain. But for the time being, like, these copied over PRC20s will likely have a lower USD value, but obviously I don't know. Things could play out in many different ways. So none of this is financial advice. You have to do your own research. But if you bridge over a PRC20 onto Ethereum, that bridged over PRC20 is not going to have the same value as the ERC20 because it is a different asset. It is a different crypto. So yeah, so that's that. I guess to summarize, I'd say your stablecoin on the Pulsechain network, your copied over stablecoin, will not be tied to the US dollar. So it will not be tradable one for one for $1. But being the fact that it is on an exchange and it is in a trading pair with other cryptos, as well as possibly stablecoins that have dollar value, it will inevitably have some value. And the same way that when there was the ETH proof of work network system state fork, the stable coins that were copied over also were not tied to the dollar, but they were tradable for other tokens on that network based on the rate of exchanges, which I'm not sure exactly what they were, but they had some value. As far as your ETH will not be copied over onto Pulsechain. You will get airdropped 1 PLS per ETH. If you bridge that PLS over to the Ethereum network, being that it's the same asset, it's just wrapped as an ERC20, and it could always be bridged back onto Pulsechain and tradable for PRC20s and stablecoins, it will be worth 1 PLS. In that same way, the Ethereum, if you take Ethereum and you bridge it to Pulsechain, being that it could always be bridged back and tradable for its value in dollars, it will also maintain parity with non-wrapped Ethereum, with regular Ethereum that's not wrapped in a PRC20 smart contract. Pimp, thank you for your question. I hope that was helpful. Feel free to always ask questions in the comment section. And if anyone has questions or is new to the space and is not sure they understand certain things, feel free to ask and I may make a video on it. For now, please check out furufinance.com, like my article that I wrote about hex bottoming, subscribe to the channel, comment, and follow me on Twitter. Thank you.